TSTN, the world's only television network dedicated to helping you be more successful. Visit TSTN.com for more information.
Dianna Booher is unstoppable.
I can't believe that Dianna Booher has written as many books as she has.
She's written over 40 books and keeps on writing.
She's a machine.
She's written more books than most people read in their adult lifetime.
Dianna Booher is one of the great pros in the speaking and training business today.
She does not let anything get in the way. She achieves them.
Let's move on and talk about a third difference in the communication style of the genders, and that is what I call small talk versus big talk. Picture this. There's a manager who's been gone all day to a long meeting and an administrative assistant. The manager walks back in from the meeting and she looks up and she says to him, "Oh, you're back. How'd the meeting go? What happened?" And he says, "Not much." And she says, "Well, I wish I could say the same thing. The whole day started off wrong because the system's been down. And I made 16 calls today trying to trace down that mysterious Mr. Zach you wanted to invite as a guest to the retirement lunch. Zilch, I never found him. And then Harry Forbes came in and he told me he was going to miss the deadline on the Universal project. And then the temporary, Melissa, you know, the lady we had in here helping us, she told me she wasn't coming back at the end of the week. She's just taking a leave of absence. And then the brochures came back from the printer smudged. I even got stood up for lunch. And Ted lost his second largest account this afternoon. He came by to tell me all about it. All in all, it's just not been one of our better days around here. Well, just tell me, how did your presentation go at the meeting? And the boss looks at her and says, "Fine." And she says, but what happened? He says, "The usual," and walks on through. And she's sitting there at her desk thinking, it's always like that. I never get any information from him. I tell him everything. I keep him totally up to date. And he tells me nothing. And the boss walks on into his office and is thinking, what's she expect me to come up with? Nothing happened. They haven't made a decision. You see, in his eyes, nothing happened. The stock market didn't rise or fall drastically. No one declared war. No one died. The company wasn't acquired. The remote still works. They still deliver pizza. They haven't banned football. Life is good. In his eyes, nothing happened. But her, she's sitting at that desk and she's thinking, things happen every minute, every hour. When a woman talks, men often think, why doesn't she get to the point? This is going on forever. And she's thinking, talking is the point. You see, the gender clash is in identifying what's important enough to talk about and what's not. Since women's purpose in talking often is just simply to build intimacy or to show concern, they consider almost anything worthy of conversation. The price of clothes, the availability of cabbage, how bad the traffic is, the dog got out, the probability they'll move their 401k accounts next week, they doubled their book of business. Things happen. It's all conversation fodder in her eyes. But men, on the other hand, consider conversation primarily for conveying information, for getting things accomplished. They don't want to waste conversation on unimportant topics. They just report things, kind of like a newspaper. In other words, the big things, current affairs, policies, accomplishments, events, those things deserve conversation in a man's eye, and the trivial doesn't. So, how do the genders get together here? Well, women shouldn't assume or interpret silence about the routine things of life as a lack of attention or concern or respect. And men have to learn that sometimes conversation is good just for the sake of conversation, just for the attitude it conveys, rather than the importance of the information shared. So, if you're stymied in this area, consider how you jumpstart conversation with your kids. They come home from school and you say, "How was school today?" And they say, "Fine." You say, well, what happened? And they say, nothing. You understand if you have children. To get a meaningful statement from them, sometimes you have to ask them a specific question, like, how hard was your math test? Or, did Miss Phillips curve the grades? You see, men and women's talk often needs that same kind of starter, that prompter, that specific question to get it off dead center. Now, with women, you can rear back and lob a conversational pass, and a woman will run under it and she'll catch it wherever it falls. But with men, you have to fire a fast one in there to a real specific destination sometimes before they respond. Small talk or big talk? Hi, I'm Dianna Booher, and I encourage you to communicate with confidence only on the Success Training Network.
See the rest of this show and many others like it only on TSTN. Visit our website to learn more.